Welcome back to Nightly Noir, the channel where we're a proud member of the Morally Grey fan club. Happy New Year! Happy 2026! How were the holidays? I hope they treated you well. As for mine, they were pretty good. It's been a while since I've been on here, and to be honest, I would have been here sooner, but honestly, my day job has really kept me busy these last few months. Tonight's episode is going to be slightly different than what we normally do on Nightly Noir. Instead of scripted, this episode is going to be me just hopping on the mic and talking about something interesting that recently came across my desk. You see, we've covered a lot of different topics on this channel, mostly dealing with films and books. But tonight's subject is a little bit different and a pretty exciting one at that. Tonight, we're going to talk about a recent announcement from SEGA, where they announced a podcast of sorts, dealing with some specific characters from the Sonic universe. Now, the weird thing is Sonic is not inherently a noir-type series, but it is definitely a franchise that is close to my heart, as it was something that I grew up with pretty extensively. But this particular project that they announced is pretty unique in that it presents itself as a radio show of sorts, kind of harkening back to radio shows from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Just from the trailer alone, you can definitely tell that they took a lot of care in the presentation and style that they're going with. And given the subject matter, I think it makes a lot of sense. The announcement was about an upcoming project, a podcast-turned-radio show called Chaotix Casefiles, which is a podcast that is going to be focusing on the characters from the Team Chaotix detective agency. Now, if you aren't familiar with Team Chaotix, they're actually a relatively old group of characters that got their start in the early 90s. Their game, Knuckles and Chaotix, was their debut game, and it wasn't necessarily a very popular game, but the characters have persisted here and there throughout the Sonic series. The characters themselves are Vector the Crocodile, Espio the Chameleon, and Charmy the Bee. They are a detective agency, and that is kind of what lends itself to being presented in this way, where they go with these very, very noir-type aspects, even though a lot of the announcing and the description of the show is very tongue-in-cheek, which I thought was really great.
The world of Sonic the Hedgehog has been thrust into a not-so-dark, not-so-stormy, hard-boiled detective story that probably nobody saw coming.
It's very interesting, too, because due to the fact that it is a radio show, or podcast as it's commonly known now, we really get to see just how well the voice actors can do in this type of medium. It's really great that we're getting to see the main voice actors for each of these characters, at least the most current voice actors. We have Keith Silverstein playing Vector, we have Matt Mercer as Espio, and we have Colleen O'Shaughnessy playing Charmy. And as far as their work in other games, like previous games that I've heard them in, most notably the most recent game being Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, they do a really great job. I'm not 100% sure how much I feel. I don't know exactly how I feel about Matt Mercer playing Espio. From what I have heard with his work as the character, it does often sound like he's just kind of using his theater, D&D, critical role type voice. So I don't know exactly if he necessarily fits the character too well, but, it is really great to see these characters come to life in this way. But, back to the main point, why am I even talking about this, aside from the nostalgia that I have for this series? Team Chaotix was not very popular, even in the game that it debuted in, but they did eventually make a resurgence, most notably in Sonic Heroes back in the early 2000s. And that's technically where I first saw them too. And I was really drawn to their story and their plot and the characterization that they had in that game. And this was kind of before I really got into hard-boiled crime fiction and noir. But the characters themselves were compelling to an extent, at least for a Sonic game. So it's really fun to see them take these characters and really amp up the detective part of it, or at least they did in this trailer. And we've seen a project similar to this. It actually released a few years back under the name The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which was a very tongue-in-cheek visual novel style game that did fairly well, to my knowledge. I never actually got a chance to play it because I don't believe it ever released on console, and I just recently was able to get my hands on a computer that can actually handle games, so that's something I may look into in the future. But as far as this project is concerned, it seems that they are very heavily taking inspiration from the hard-boiled crime fiction novels and movies and, that kind of style that we love here on Nightly Noir. So as soon as I saw this trailer drop, I knew that I had to talk about it on the channel. Plus, it felt like it was a really great topic to kind of get myself back into making videos after the holidays. So, overall, I'm pretty excited to see just how this project ends up, and I'm hoping that these, voice actors do a really great job of characterizing, who they're portraying. I am kind of curious about the plot. The trailer doesn't really go into much detail on that. But yeah, it seems like it could be a really fun ride, and I hope that you guys are interested too. If you think that this could be something that you might be interested in, if you're a fan of Sonic, or maybe you never even heard of these characters before, but maybe you like podcasts and, dramatized shows that are just on, like, audio only, which, these are obviously things that are inspired from radio shows of the past, and a lot of the crime fiction stuff started in radio. So I think that those two things just kind of go well hand in hand. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and also let me know how you like this unscripted content. It definitely makes it a lot easier for me to make videos a lot faster when I'm not having to worry about the script as much. Obviously, it's less professional and things like that, and I don't necessarily get a chance to go into a lot of deep dive in this kind of format, but it does allow me to get some videos out a bit faster. And in terms of things that are like time sensitive, things like these announcements, I think could work really well. But you guys let me know, and if you like it, maybe we can do some more in the future. But yeah, that's about all I can yap for in tonight's episode. Thank you so much for the recent support that you all showed during Noirvember. I really got to see a lot of more interaction with the channel and with the videos, and I'm sorry about the, longer than average hiatus. I never intended to take this long to get back into videos, but like I said, my day job keeps me pretty busy, so I haven't really had a lot of time to focus and devote time to the channel. But, as always, this has been Nightly Noir, and have a good night.